Hey everyone, and welcome to week 31 of the OLED burn-in test. This is a test I'm running on my LG C9 OLED. This is the 65-inch model, and as you can see at the top here, model name is 65C9 PLA. This, as I say, is week 31, and if we take a look at the UTT, that's the hours used, we can see it's 1,309. That's with compensation count, which is your mini pixel, well, your pixel refresher. So off RS is the mini pixel refresher, so 247. And one is the manual pixel refresher, which is the major one that I ran towards the start of actually purchasing this particular TV. So what I'll do is I'll just exit out of that and I will restart the burn-in test. And first thing I'll do is just make sure that the exposure is correct. Probably about there. Okay, so for anybody who's not watched any of my videos before, the reason I run these tests is basically just to give a weekly indication of how my particular OLED TV is performing, and I normally just give a brief description in terms of usage for the past week, and obviously now that I'm showing the hours, people can obviously determine that week to week as well. Main reason for this is because there's a lot of hysteria out there with regards to OLED TVs, and in particular LG OLED TVs, mainly from certain YouTubers who basically just make it their career almost to bash on certain products. But I digress. The reason for these, as I say, is literally just to give you an indication of how the panel's performing. In the past week, gaming wise, it's been a lot less. I can just see some weird stuff on the actual phone screen. I'm hoping that doesn't actually come through once we're actually processing the video. One of the problems I have with making these videos is I need to put it in a dark room so then you can actually see the colors correctly. But by putting it in a dark room, it does dim my phone screen. So sometimes the phone screen will show strange fluctuations that aren't actually coming through on camera itself. Yeah, so usage for the past week has mainly been sports, so basically virtually no gaming for the past week. Previously, during the whole lockdown period when kids were off school, my son was using it for gaming on basically Fortnite pretty much non-stop. The past week has been mainly Premier League football, so you would have had head-up displays with the score and the channel name, and also usually you have the Premier League branding in the bottom right as well. So as I've said in the past, I'm pretty confident that basically I'm not going to find anything on the panel partly because of the way I had it set up initially, and also the fact that I've got all the protections enabled. One thing I just need to point out is in one of my earlier videos I might have pointed out that the logo luminance feature, if by turning it to high, is more aggressive. Just as clarification, by more aggressive what I mean is the time with which it kicks in is sooner. So it doesn't actually dim it any more aggressively. Having it on low or high, low is basically like a normal standard kind of time. So say for example 1 minute, and if you turn it to high, what it'll do is it'll kick in at 30 seconds, for example. I don't know the exact timings. I don't know whether there is a set timing that it goes by or whether it literally just judges it case by case, so depending on what you have on screen. But it's basically, it just kicks in sooner, and that's what I've got it on. I also, whenever I'm watching that particular content, so whenever I'm using IPTV, generally I'll use the built-in apps on the LG TV itself, and what I do is I have that set in sport mode, not the sport mode that it comes in, because that's always overblown, oversaturated. So what I do is I've dialed it in with my own settings where I've turned certain things down, color, contrast, and also the OLED light as well. And then the actual dimming of the screen, I actually prefer that, because if you are watching back-to-back games, it does prevent you from getting eye strain just because of it not having such a bright picture So yeah, that's something that other people might not like it. Me personally, whenever I'm watching, because generally if it's a big game, it's going to be a night game, and I'll be watching it in a fully dark room. So obviously OLED light, you don't need that 100% blasting your retinas out. So yeah, so it's cycling through. As I say, no issues with the panel whatsoever. No ghosting, nothing like that. Every color that it cycles through is nice and clean. For anybody out there that's basically thinking of buying an OLED or is curious about how they stand up in terms of real world usage. Basically today, this is actually being filmed quite early on. Normally I'll do it late or I'll do it on the Saturday morning. We will be watching a movie later on today. Fridays is basically movie night for us. And then this weekend, there's loads of games. So similar thing for next week where it'll probably be mainly sports usage and the odd TV show movie here and there. But basically, I don't baby it anymore. I literally just use it for whatever I want to use it for. So I'll just let this cycle through. Yellow's clean. Grayscale, that's another thing. Grayscale on this is very clear. Very little banding or dirty screen effect, if you like, that you normally can get with some OLED panels. The uniformity of the screen has been really good right from the start on this particular panel. I think originally I did run the major pixel refresher to see if it did clean it up, and I think it did clean up one tiny little area of concern, but since then it's completely clean, and any dark scenes in movies, they play back perfectly fine. Okay, and that's it.